Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you. Another offering. Off by Sampler Platter. Yes, indeed, folks. Sampler Video series videos I've been doing for a little while now. Go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie, I've been really wanting to get to these, so I hope they're delicious. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. Whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for today, though? Happens to be my Essinger shirt. Really like the stylized design on this one. If you're unfamiliar with Essinger, he's a one-man musical project, typically working in sort of electronica, kind of industrial-ish type of music. I ran into his stuff a few years ago. He was on tour with a band called the Cybertronic Spree, who I'm a big fan of, and I really liked his set. It was actually rather funny because up until that point, I'd been chatting with some other people I'd met at the concert, right? These other two guys. And we're all psyched to see Cybertronic Spree. And Essinger gets up, and it was clear they were not into his set, but I was. So at that point, it was like, I think we're gonna separate now. We're not gonna talk anymore. But no, I really dug his stuff. I actually got some videos of his performance that I attended. Those videos are on my channel in case maybe you want to check them out. If nothing else, I'd be more than happy to point you in the right direction as far as his music goes, because I think the guy's absolutely incredible. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? Why have I been jonesing to go over there and try this one? Well, I found it at a little bit of a fancier local supermarket, and it was one of those things where, like, I was in line, stuff's already on the conveyor, and it was right there, and I saw it, and I was like, let's get that. So what is it? Happens to be, boom! It is from, and I apologize for mispronunciations, Specialita Italiane hard-filled candy red apple from Cuneo, Italy, with cinnamon flavor. Boy, that's going to be hard to write out for the title card. Okay, no colors added, natural flavors, gluten-free. All right. Fancy schmancy candy. Let's get a thing for the thing. It looks like this. We'll just go, ha 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 ha. Cool, man. Close your eyes and enjoy the wonderful taste. Yeah, all right, fancy candy from Italy. All right. Like a cough drop. Ooh, cinnamony. I mean, this has to work. Cinnamon and apple are like two of the best flavor combinations. Well, is one of the best flavor combinations. Could have said two of the best flavors to combine. That would work too. Okay. The outside seems to be strictly cinnamon. Like, I'm not getting an apple vibe, so I'm guessing maybe that's like the inside. Because it says it's filled. Yeah, the outside's okay. It's got a nice cinnamon flavor to it. It reminds me a little bit of those little cinnamon candy hearts, that you can get. I haven't had those in forever. I always like those. It reminds me a little bit of that, except much more subdued. Whereas those, at least the last time I had them when I was probably like 10, they had some heat to them, from the cinnamon. This is a much more mellow cinnamon vibe. It's nice, though. Yeah, at least the exterior seems to be just a nice cinnamon candy. Okay, let's try to bite into it. I hope it's not too hard. My teeth kind of suck. Oh, No, it's not at all. It's actually really easy to bite into. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So that's where the apple comes into play. Okay. All right. That's not bad. It's really interesting because the flavors are there, but they're a little bit more delicate than I would normally expect. You know, like, I'm used to candy from America, right? Where we amp everything up. You know, the sugar level, everything. So this, even though it has familiar flavors, certainly, they do feel, again, just a little bit more delicate, a little bit more subdued. Not in a bad way, but just not in a familiar way for what I was expecting. It's nice. It's not as good as I was expecting, but, like, it's kind of good in its own way. Because, again, you know, like, I was expecting the apple aspect to be much more prominent. The fact that you have to actually bite into it to get to the apple is a little bit, because I almost figured it would be kind of like the other way around, like it would be more of apple or more apple flavored with kind of like a, you know, little bit of a cinnamony vibe, and then you bite into it and you get that rush of cinnamon. But you know, again, the exterior is just cinnamon, and then when you break into it, you get a little bit of an apple vibe. But again, it's not like a strong, heavy apple vibe. It's nice. I feel like the ratio is off on it, though. I feel like it's a bit too much cinnamon versus the amount of apple that you get. You know, it doesn't really come together in, like, what I'm used to as, like, an apple-cinnamon combination. But it's nice. Okay. 2 questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? Sure and sure. I'll say this. It didn't exactly live up to my expectations, you know? And again, I think a lot of that just comes down to what my expectations are, you know, enjoying candy from an American standpoint versus, you know, from other cultures. Sometimes it's just going to be different. And to that end, like, I do want to stress, even though I was a little bit disappointed in the flavor, I don't think they're bad or anything. It's just, again, expectation versus, you know, the reality of it. These definitely wouldn't be like something I would grab with any regularity, because again, for me, I want that more amped up flavor to it, and I was kind of hoping the apple would play a bigger role. But they are nice, and, you know, there's something where, I mean, I've got a pretty good sized bag of these. They're kind of nice in that, like, you know, there's something where I could go over there, I can maybe keep them with me, you know, hand them off here and there to, you know, like, family or friends or something like that, because they are a little bit more subdued. They don't taste as much like, you know, like a little kid's candy. They're almost a little bit more adult oriented, I guess. Is sort of what I feel like. And the flavors are nice, so I'd maybe get them every now and again. If I'm recommending them, sure. You know, it's just the only thing I would say is that you gotta understand what you're getting into. If you're like me, where you were expecting, you know, like a really strong cinnamon apple vibe, that kind of thing, it's not that. It's just not. Again, it's more delicate, more subdued in its flavors, but the flavors themselves are nice. Cinnamon's a great flavor. You know, when you do bite into the apple and you get that little extra, it's certainly a nice thing. I apologize, it's just starting to get hot. Ugh, getting a little bit sweaty. I hate the summer so much. And of course, that's when all this interesting stuff comes out to review. You gotta love that. But yeah, I mean, I think that I wouldn't exactly give these a resounding recommendation, but, like, I do think they're nice. And I do think that these would be something where, if you're somebody who doesn't like particularly heavy sweet candies, this could be something for you, because the flavors are definitely on point, and it's a little bit more, again, a little bit more delicate. I know I keep reusing that word, and it's driving me nuts. I'm trying to think of other words, but 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of your month, stupendous rest of your year. Folks, go over there and have yourselves a truly Italian special-tastic rest of your life, or whatever. Because, hey, Italy makes some of the best stuff on the planet. You know, I mean, hell, just a couple days ago, I had some delicious pasta, which was so good. Final two things. Number one, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what do you do if you can't do it all the time? I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Now, folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. When we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, what are some other Italian candies that I should try out, you know? Because I certainly do have access to some of this stuff, because, like, you know, there's import stores, we also have, like, specialty grocery chains and stuff. So, it's certainly, you know, like, you know, Caputo's off the top of my head, like, that's, you know, and they definitely have a lot of Italian-style stuff there, so let me know if there's a particular brand or something else I should check out. Hit me up in the comments.